Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about with transformations is the rotation, the turn. And in order to turn, you have to have a point about which you're turning. This will change depending on what point it is you're turning. If you're turning about the origin versus if you're turning about some other point over here, it would change and give you a different shape over there, turning this way instead of turning this way. So the point that you're turning around is called the center. This would be the center of rotation. Now, for simplicity, for our purposes, our center is going to always be the origin. So we're not going to be turning about other points. And you also have the angle of rotation. The angle of rotation is the number of degrees a figure rotates. So our notation for this, notice, is a little r this time instead of a big R. Big R, you recall, was for reflection. The first thing it gives us is the degrees about which we are rotating. And the second thing it gives us is the center of rotation. So that O here represents the point 0, 0, the origin. And then lastly, it tells us what we are rotating. In this case, we're rotating the point x, y. You could, just like previously, be rotating a triangle or a trapezoid or another shape. So we're going to focus here on two scenarios. One scenario is when you're rotating 180 degrees. Your coordinates of your point, x, y, are going to change to negative x, negative y. So, for example, if I have 2, 3, and I want to rotate that 180 degrees to the other side of the line, I'm going to end up with negative 2, negative 3. The second scenario we're going to look at is when you're rotating 360 degrees. Well, if I start here with 2, 3, and I rotate all the way around the circle 360 degrees, wouldn't you know it, I end up right where I left off. So it's just going to be x, y. So let's look here at example 5. We have shape ABCD as a rectangle. There's our vertices given to us. And we have two different ways we're going to rotate. So if we're going to rotate 180 degrees, you can go through and take all of these coordinates and just change them all to the opposite sign, which happens to be negative. So A is now negative 1, negative 1. B is now negative 1, negative 3. C is now negative 3. And D is now negative 4, negative 1. And we can plot those points. So negative 1 is going to be A prime. These are all primes since they are the image, not the pre-image points. You have negative 1, 2, 3. For B prime, C prime is negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 3, and then lastly D prime is negative 4, negative 1. So I'll let you try the 360 degree rotation, and then you can come back to the video after you've given the you try a shot. So here we are, we're back, and 360 degree rotation, you're graphing the original shape, the original image. The only thing that has changed is now these are all primes. So A prime is at 1, 1, B prime is at 1, 3, C prime is at 4, 3, and D prime is at 4, 1. We're graphing the same stinking points, we're just calling it something new. Alright, let's look at the very last thing. It's called a tessellation. So in this picture at right, this is a tessellation. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 basic shapes, and I've taken those shapes and I've transformed them. I've moved some of them, I've flipped some of them, I've rotated some of them, but in the process of taking these 4 shapes and flipping, turning, reflecting these different things, I've gotten this beautiful little art pattern or quilt pattern, and that quilt pattern itself is called a tessellation. It's the pattern of one or more figures that covers a plane so that there are no overlapping or empty spaces. It's a tessellation. Okay, so that concludes the congruence transformations notes, and you now should be ready to complete your worksheet. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.